welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really digging into something that feels like it's everywhere. How can we actually use AI to, get things done?
Right, beyond just the hype.
Exactly. We spent some time with a YouTube video, Leah Motley's How to Build and Sell AI Agents, Ultimate Beginner's Guide, to sort of get the essence of AI agents. You think of this as maybe your fast track to understanding this tech.
Yeah, and our aim isn't just to define them, but to show what they can do. Practical stuff. How they can genuinely automate tasks and make workflows smoother, maybe in ways you haven't thought of.
And the core idea, the real power, seems to be how these agents can connect different tools,
Yeah.
like a digital employee almost.
That's a great analogy. Clicking API buttons, connecting software.
Do the repetitive bits super fast. And what's really interesting is these no-code platforms like Relevance AI, making it possible for, well, almost anyone.
That's a key point. It democratizes it. But the true power, I think, comes when they use multiple tools together. Orchestration.
Okay, let's make that concrete. Say you want to find new AI startups, the ones getting funding.
Right, a common business task.
Yeah, and then you need info on them, put it in a spreadsheet, maybe get summaries, and then email yourself a link to it all. That's usually a lot of manual steps.
A lot of steps. But an AI agent, if it has the right tools, can potentially handle all that. It could use a web search tool, then maybe a spreadsheet tool, a summarization tool.
Even an email tool at the end.
Exactly, to package it all up and send it off.
So it's not just basic automation then, it's smarter.
Well, that's where the reasoning models come in. Think OpenAI's models, for example. They act as the brain.
The brain, okay.
Yeah, they allow the agent to plan, act, check the results, and importantly, replan if needed. It's kind of like how we solve problems.
Huh. So if its first search, say, doesn't work well.
It can recognize that. The reasoning model lets it adapt. It might try different search terms or, look somewhere else for the data. That adaptability is crucial.
But we should probably manage expectations a bit. It's not foolproof yet.
Oh, definitely not. Especially for really complex, multi-step tasks. Things can still go wrong. Human oversight is often still needed, especially for critical workflows. It's early days in some ways.
Right. Still evolving.
And speaking of evolution, the next big step seems to be multi-agent systems. Not just one agent, but like a team of them.
A team of AI agents. How does that work?
Imagine a main agent, sort of like a manager, delegating tasks. It could pass work to a specialist research agent or a writing agent or an email agent.
So each agent has its own little toolkit and specialty.
Precisely. And big companies, HubSpot, Microsoft, Google, they're already building towards this, using AI agent workforces for complex business processes.
Fascinating. Okay, so for today, how are these agents actually used? The source video seems to break it down into two main types.
Yeah, broadly speaking, conversational agents and automated agents.
Let's start with conversational. That sounds like what most people think of, maybe.
Probably. These are the agents you chat with directly. Website chat bots, assistants in WhatsApp or Instagram, even AI you talk to on the phone.
Like ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
Where you type back and forth.
Exactly. Or platforms like Agent, which the video mentions, that connect these AI brains to messaging apps. The core is that interaction, you give instructions, it responds.
And AI voice agents are part of this too. That sounds pretty cutting edge.
It is. Using models that handle both text and speech, multimodal models. It opens up really natural ways to interact. Exciting stuff.
Okay, so that's conversational. What about the other type, automated agents?
These are more behind the scenes. They get integrated into workflows to do tasks without you constantly talking to them.
So they just run in the background.
Pretty much. Often built with those no-code platforms we talked about, they become part of how business operates, making things more efficient without constant interaction.
Got it. Now, the source video asks some good fundamental questions to make sure we grasp the basics. Like, what are the key parts of an agent?
Right, and it uses that chef analogy. How is building an agent like being a chef? What are the ingredients?
Yeah, and what are the two main parts of a tool the agent uses? And what do schemas do? Understanding this seems important before trying to build anything.
Absolutely. While it doesn't list exactly 5 parts, the video implicitly covers the essentials. The reasoning model, the brain, the tools it can use, its ability to understand instructions, its ability to actually do things, and that whole planning and adapting mechanism.
And the chef analogy, how did that play out?
Well, the agent is the chef. The ingredients are the reasoning model, the different tools you give it access to, and maybe any specific knowledge you upload.
So more ingredients mean fancier dishes. More complex tasks.
Exactly. A well-equipped chef or agent can do more, and the tools themselves usually have two parts: an input what they need to work.
Like a URL for a web scraper.
Precisely. And the functionality, the steps the tool actually takes.
And schemas. They sound technical.
They sort of are, but think of them like instruction manuals for the tools, especially for connecting to other software APIs. They tell the agent exactly how to use a tool correctly. Getting these basics down is key.
Okay, that makes sense. So understanding the building blocks first.
Which leads us perfectly into the practical builds. The video shows 4 examples using no-code platforms. This is where it gets really hands-on.
Right. We see Relevance AI, N8AN, VoiceFlow, and the creator's own platform agent.
Yeah.
And it's cool how they reuse parts, isn't it?
Yeah, builds on itself. Let's start with build 1, the Sales Copilot in Relevance AI. The goal is simple: help salespeople prep for calls faster.
Okay, Sales Copilot. And it uses 3 tools, you said.
3 main ones. A company researcher, give it a website URL, it scrapes and summarizes.
Okay.
A prospect researcher, similar thing, but uses a LinkedIn URL for info on the person.
Makes sense.
And then the pre-call report generator. This one takes the company summary and the prospect summary and creates a strategy report for the sales rep.
So it pulls it all together. How easy is it to build those tools in Relevance AI?
The video makes it look pretty straightforward. You give the tool a natural language description so the AI knows what it does. For the company tool, you specify the URL input, use something called Firecrawl for the scraping.
Firecrawl.
Yeah, seems like an advanced scraper. Then you use an OpenAI model with a specific prompt to get the summary you need for sales prep.
And you need an OpenAI API key for that.
Yep. The video briefly shows how to get one. Then Relevance has this use feature to easily share the tool. The prospect tool is built similarly using LinkedIn scraping.
And the report tool, it takes the first 2 summaries as input.
Correct. And then uses another OpenAI model, but with a more strategic prompt. It even mentions tailoring it for a specific fictional company, Big Boy Recruits, to make it really targeted.
Huh. Okay. And they mention a perfect prompt tool.
Yeah, seems like a helper within Relevance for crafting better prompts.
So once the tools are built, you just assemble the agent.
Essentially. In Relevance, you give the agent its main instructions, connect those 3 tools, maybe set some rules for how it uses them.
And then you can test it.
Yep, the demo shows it running, taking the inputs, using the tools one by one, and spitting out the pre-call report. Then you can share that agent via chat or put it on a website.
Cool. Okay, build number 2. Automated lead qualification with N8N.
Right, N8N. This shifts from an interactive agent to one embedded in an automated workflow.
So less chat, more background processing.
Exactly. The idea is to automatically qualify leads that come in through a form, saving people time and using AI instead of just like simple rules.
And it reuses the company researcher tool from Relevance AI.
It does. That's integrated into the N8N workflow using an API call. After getting the company info, an AI agent node within N8N, again, using OpenAI, analyzes that info against qualification rules.
So the AI decides, qualified or not qualified.
Yep. And based on that decision, it does different things. If qualified, it might trigger another N8N workflow, maybe to alert sales.
And if not?
It sends a rejection email automatically using a Gmail node.
Okay, walk me through setting that up in N8N. It starts with a trigger.
Usually an HTTP request trigger, simulating the form submission. Then you add the node to call the Relevance AI tool via its API. Then comes the N8N tools agent node.
What's in that node?
It connects to the chat model, like OpenAI, manages memory if needed, though not really here, and critically, it's where you link the tools the agent can use.
So you connect the Relevance company research tool.
Right, and then you set up the output tools. One tool calls that second lead as qualified workflow. The other tool is the Gmail node for sending the rejection, and you need to write descriptions for these tools in ANN too, so the agent knows what they do.
And that second lead is qualified workflow. How does it know when to run?
You set its trigger to when executed by another workflow, and you define what info it expects, like name, email, company summary. Then back in the main workflow, you link the qualified output tool to the second workflow and map the data across.
And the Gmail tool is just configured with a rejection message.
Pretty much. Standard email setup.
What about the prompt for this qualification agent? That seems crucial.
Absolutely. The prompt tells the agent what makes a good lead. In the example, it's specifically looking for software businesses, like SaaS or dev agencies.
And the demo shows it working for both cases, qualified and unqualified.
Yeah, it shows a test run where a software company triggers the qualified workflow and another company gets the rejection email. Works nicely.
Okay, Build 3 sounds interesting website and phone support. Using VoiceFlow.
Yeah, VoiceFlow. This one is cool because it shows deploying the same agent logic across chat and voice channels.
What's the goal here? Answering questions, giving quotes, capturing leads?
All of the above. Instant answers from a knowledge base, instant quotes using another custom tool, and lead capture. The payoff is better customer experience, more leads, maybe lower support costs.
So you'd have a chat widget on your site and a phone number, both linked to this agent.
That's the idea. The agent itself has access to a knowledge base. You just upload an FAQ doc. And it's connected to a, quote, generation tool.
How does VoiceFlow handle the conversation flow?
It's visual. You start with a welcome, then a listen step. Then it uses AI, a prompt, analyzing the conversation history to figure out the user's intent.
Intent, like asking a question versus requesting a quote.
Exactly. Based on that intent, a choice component directs the user down the right path.
So if they ask a question.
It uses VoiceFlow's built-in knowledge base block to find and give the answer from the uploaded FAQ. Simple.
And for a quote.
It needs more info, right? Like property, type, size.
Okay.
So it asks for those details. Then it calls out to that relevance AI, quote, generation tool again.
Ah, reuse again. How does VoiceFlow call an external tool like that?
Using its dev API block, you configure it as a Profist request, put in the relevance tool's URL, add headers like content type, and your relevance API key for authorization.
Okay, standard API call stuff.
Pretty much. And you map the VoiceFlow variables holding the property info into the request body that relevance expects. Then you grab the quote from the API response.
Does it just spit out the raw quote number?
Well, you can, but the example uses another prompt within VoiceFlow to make it more user-friendly, like a nice summary sentence with the price.
Smart. And light capture, how does that work?
After giving the quote, it asks for name and phone number. Then it uses another API block, this time to call a make.com webhook.
Make.com, like Zapier.
Yeah, similar automation platform. The webhook receives the lead data, name, phone from VoiceFlow.
So you set up the API call in VoiceFlow to send the data to Make.
Right, POST request to the Make webhook URL with the lead info in the body. Then in Make, you build a simple scenario. Webhook trigger receives data, then an action adds a new row to a Google Sheet.
So VoiceFlow, Make-Google Sheets, got it. And the demo shows this whole sequence.
Yep. Question answering, quote, generation via relevance, and lead capture into the sheet via Make. All in one flow, usable on chat or phone. Okay, last build. WhatsApp support and lead gen using the agent platform.
Built on OpenAI's Assistance API, right?
Correct. So it's leveraging that underlying tech. Functionality is similar to the VoiceFlow one. Knowledge base answers, instant quotes via relevance again, lead capture, but this time into Airtable.
Why WhatsApp? Just because it's popular.
That seems to be the main draw. Meet customers where they are, makes interaction easy for many people.
How does the agent platform structure things? Is it like VoiceFlow?
A bit simpler, maybe. It focuses on the core components. The main prompt defining the agent, the knowledge base, and the tools. Back to that chef analogy again.
Okay, so you write a prompt, upload the FAQ for knowledge.
Exactly. Same FAQ file can be reused. Connecting tools is done using OpenAPI schemas.
Schemas again. Where do those come from for the Relevance and Airtable tools?
Relevance AI actually has a feature called Custom Actions that can generate these OpenAPI schemas for its tools. So you'd build the, quote, tool and the Airtable lead capture tool in Relevance first.
Wait, an Airtable lead capture tool in Relevance?
Yeah, you can build tools in Relevance that interact with other APIs. So you'd set up a tool with inputs like name, email, phone, and its action would be a POST request to the Airtable API to add a row to your base.
Okay, so Relevance acts as the middleman to Airtable. Then you generate the schemas for both the, quote, tool and this Airtable tool.
Using Relevance's Custom Actions feature. Then you take those schemas and add them into the agent platform, along with any API keys needed for authentication.
Got it. Then write the main prompt for the agent in the agent platform.
Right. Again, maybe using that perfect prompt tool from Relevance to help craft it effectively, telling the agent how to behave and use its knowledge and tools.
And then test it within the agent platform.
Yep. The demo shows a chat conversation, asking a question, answered from knowledge, getting a quote, using the Relevance tool via schema, giving contact info, captured via the Relevance Airtable tool schema.
And you can see the data pop up in Airtable.
Exactly. The platform also shows debugging info, like the conversation transcript and which tools were called when. Finally, it shows how you connect this agent to an actual WhatsApp number.
That covers a lot of ground. from simple co-pilots to multi-channel support bots.
It really demonstrates the flexibility.
Which brings us to the big question. How do people actually make money from this? Do you need to build the next ChatGPT?
Definitely not. That's a common misunderstanding. The source material and the creator's own experience really emphasizes that the opportunity right now is helping businesses apply this stuff.
So less about inventing new core AI, more about implementation.
Precisely. Businesses are trying to figure out, okay, how can we use AI agents? They need people who understand the tools, the platforms, the potential use cases, and can actually build and integrate these solutions for them.
That was the path the video creator took.
Apparently, yeah. Significant growth came from helping businesses implement AI, not from building foundation models. Lots of business leaders see this as a massive opportunity right now.
So the skill is in bridging the gap between the technology and the business need.
You got it. And for people serious about that, the video mentions an AI agency roadmap resource.
Good to know. Okay, let's wrap this up. We've gone pretty deep today.
We have, from what AI agents are to how they reason and use tools.
To seeing them built on different no-code platforms like Relevance AI, N8N, VoiceFlow, Agent.
And applied to real-world tasks like sales prep, lead qualification, customer support across web, phone, WhatsApp.
It really highlights the potential for automation, for better customer interaction, for lead generation.
Hopefully listeners feel they have a much better handle on it now. The next step really is to explore some of these platforms. Try building something small.
Yeah, experiment a bit. Think about your own work or maybe just areas you're interested in. Where could an agent like this fit in? So here's a final thought for you, the listener. With this foundation we've covered today, what's maybe just one process, big or small, that you can now imagine automating or improving with an AI agent.
Yeah, what sparks an idea? We'd genuinely love to hear people's thoughts or any other questions this deep dive might have brought up.
Definitely. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive.